Okay, so it's the 29th, it's a bank holiday. I didn't record anything yesterday, it was raining, and it's raining today too. Well, it's not raining now, but it's cloudy, so I can't charge the laptop, and the library's closed because it's bank holiday. Anyway, I just wanted to quickly show you, I've been busy this morning. I've cleared the front of the boat, so I'm going to find a way to get rid of that paddle board. I don't know how yet. And then I found a stainless steel cleaner. So this rusty old barbecue that I found in the bins in Cannes, I've been working away at that. So what I'm using is vinegar, the metal polish combination, but just to show you like what it looked like before. And I just wanted to get some of that because I've started and it is coming up clean. So I just wanted to show you a before. It was all like, I mean, already the rust has gone off, so it's just the black in the metal. But I reckon we can get it like looking almost new. So that's what I'm going to do for the next 3 hours probably. So 3 hours later and we've done the top. Look at that. Morning. I don't know what number we're on now. The next time I go and stay at anchor for ages, I'm going to have to like mark them off on the wall, but it's this morning number at anchor. Yesterday, no sorry, the day before yesterday, because I can't get internet on my phone, as you know, while I'm out here, just because I forgot to pay my bill. I thought it'd come out and it hadn't, so I'm a few days until I can do that. But I go into the little town, but it's been bank holiday, so I've not been able to go to the library. So I go into the town and I can get hotspot like at the park. And I was reading through the comments from one of the previous videos. And you know, all them ones when I was in Cannes, I was a little bit like, oh, shall I post them? Because I know I was just there messing around. Part of it I couldn't really do much about because I was obviously did that boat work and then the thing happened with my tools, etc, etc. But one of the comments said stop ferrying about, and it's maybe a little bit harsh, but it's not completely wrong. Anyway, yesterday it was a bit cloudy, not much going on. I couldn't go to the library, so I decided to make the boat stop looking like a shed. So what I did was I cleared the deck. I now had to store the stuff on the spare bed under here, but I like to look down there and it be clear, but for now it's better down there than on the deck. It just looked a mess, like I had wood all stacked to the side, and actually like I had a few comments from people, and you know, they were not horrible comments. There was like, it looks like someone lives there. But going into next month, if I can get the boat taken out of the water about a week into the month, it gives me about 7 days. What I want to start doing is getting the deck ready, so I'll show you. So firstly, you can see it's all clear. Like the lines are back neat, the fenders are up here, they're neat. Yesterday, this arch I've made at the back, I used some rope just to reinforce it, so now I'm fairly certain that's not going to go anywhere, even with a bit of wind. Obviously I can't go swinging off it, and one day we might replace it with an actual one, but for now that's holding up quite well. And another solar panel will go on this side, and the solar panel's fixed now, so I already said that probably in a previous video or earlier in this, I'm not sure which it'll be, but that's working. We're gonna have to buy some new connectors, but for now we've just made sure no water can get onto them. But that's working. The laptop's charging as we speak. It took a few days to get the battery back up, but now it's working. Like, we have lights on at night time again, and I also rewired the chart plotters and stuff, so everything, all electrics are working minus the front navigation lights, because we did that temporary fix and we just need to do a permanent fix, which we're going to do when we take it out of the water. Mast light is working, cabin lights are working. I need to buy a new bus bar because the way that they're fitted, there's now too many lights, as I've explained before. But a bus bar will sort that out, and then all the cabin lights work again. I am going to add a switch, because the problem is when I turn it on at the main switch panel, the cabin lights then stay on because they don't have their own switch. It's not the end of the world, but then obviously if I go up to the V-berth and just want to have that light on, I can, but I've got to get out of bed then to go turn that light off when it's got a switch. But if I just turn that one off, the cabin lights remain on, so I'm going to add them onto a separate switch. But yeah, the electrics are working again, so we feel a bit better about that. So yeah, we did that yesterday, we got that strengthened. The barbecue I'm really happy with. So this blue, we won't swear at him, that's gonna go. It's seen me through because I've only got like one big gas bottle, but I use them for the cooker. I've got two of them, but they're both empty. So at the end of the month we're gonna get at least one of them replaced. Then that can go. And then eventually the big gas bottle might go as well. It's not that practical, like it's what I've obviously filmed cooking on, and it probably seems quite practical, but I've got this whole mess to try and keep it level, and it gets the control on it's broke, so I have to turn it on and off from the gas. So as a result, I can only get like the really high flame. It did used to have a plate on the top, but he waiting to see. And you know, on that plate it was alright, it was quite good for cooking, like if I wanted to cook quite a big fried rice, it was quite good for that. Without that plate though, it gets too hot, so the frying pan yesterday, it's just really hard to manage, and it looks a mess. But this barbecue that we found in the bin, I was really happy to find anyway. I had high hopes that it was going to clean up. That honestly took about 3 hours, but look at it, like I'm genuinely like really happy with it. It's a charcoal one. When I was looking at buying one, I was looking at a gas one originally, but I quite like the idea that it's charcoal and it's not something else that I have to connect to the gas. I've made a place inside now to store the charcoal. Charcoal's not that expensive anyway. Obviously it's something else to dispose of, but you know, I'm looking forward to using that, like especially when I get out of here and fishing is a bit more doable. But yeah, that's how that turned out, so I'm happy with that. I've only done the lid for now, I haven't done the bottom yet, but we'll be able to get the bottom just like that. Comes on this really sturdy mount. Some of the newer ones actually have a hinge, it doesn't, but it's not the end of the world because it's connected. It's a bit of a mess inside, but yeah, we're going to get that cleaned as well. But yeah, the lid's not going to go anywhere as long as it goes down there, but sits really nicely off the mount. Magma barbecue they're called, and I've seen a charcoal one without the mount was like 200 euros new, and that was on special offer, so they are quite expensive because that's, well, whether it's stainless steel or inox, I don't know, but it cleaned up really well. This is taking a while to explain. But yeah, because I was just explaining that yesterday, I stopped ferrying around and actually got quite a lot done. This anchor that I've said in a previous video, I said quite angrily, how can I stop the boat pointing into the swell? Or not pointing into the swell. The boat points into the wind, but the swell sometimes comes from the other way. The way to do it is to put a stern anchor out, so an anchor at the back of the boat. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a separate chain locker for that, instead of using this bucket. But for now, all that chain's in the bucket, and that the boat guys who have now gone to Corsica, the Rihanna was the name of the boat. They've gone now, but he dug me this up. It's actually a pretty decent anchor, 9 kilogram, but it'll definitely do for when I need to anchor at the stern. Save me some money from buying one. We're going to clear a space for the fuel can underneath here as well. If we lose that gas bottle too, that creates some more space in there for sails too. We had a bit of a tidy in here, but not much, but we made enough room to get some more bits in there, and then some of the stuff we stored under the sofa, so that's a lot neater now. And yeah, taking you forwards, what I've realised I have to do is stop doing this thing where I have to go into port to clean the boat. Like, you know, yesterday what I did was, and you can probably see, it probably looks really clean on camera, I didn't actually finish it because I ended up polishing metal, which was making a mess. But what we did is just dipped the deck brush over the side and gave it a rinse that way. So we have had a bit of a clean. Over here is where the sailboard, which I need to probably get rid of, now is just floating there in the way of everything. But that was down here with loads of wood, so that was all quite dirty. And then we made a start on polishing these bits of metals up. This up, it had gone quite rusty, so we got maybe halfway through it. It could still be a little bit better. We didn't finish, we got distracted by the barbecue, to be honest. But yeah, we've done that one, we did that one, but to give you an idea of how they were looking, they were all like this. Then we did a bit on the 2 hatches as well, so that's something we can do while we're at anchor. And we've got some little wire sponge pad things, so we can do some more of them over the next few days. Well, there's not much else we can do, but yeah, so that's what we got done yesterday. Also, we inflated the dinghy floor back up. I've neglected the dinghy since the engine and the seat got stole because I was just a bit annoyed, and I'm a bit, there's like water in the tubes and I'm not sure how I'm going to get that out. I've googled and it doesn't look like it's going to be an easy job, so not looking forward to that. But when the boat comes out the water, we'll have to try do that, because at the minute it's heavy. So it's one thing towing a dinghy which is full of air, but towing a dinghy which has got loads of water in, it's going to slow me down too much. So yeah, anyway, the rest of the day I've got a video uploading. It will be episode number 22, and it's probably the first one I've done where I'm really happy with how it turned out, because I put a bit of effort into thinking about what I was filming as well. So I know a lot of the videos are me. Did you hear that water? The tubes are full of water. I've got the water out, and now I sit at the front to like try balance the weight a little bit, but it just feels like I'm going to tip out. This is my 1 euro technique, 1 hour technique. It looks pretty cool, that back platform with the solar panel on. And now that I've moved everything off the deck, it looks like the boat could actually sail. Still need to decide what to do with that. Surely this boat is going to slow down. Maybe it has slowed down a bit. One over there, don't care. Right, today we are having tinned paella. So it comes in like a little two-part thing. They're not very good, but I just didn't fancy mackerel today. And I'm out of like vegetables, so like I could have had like crab fried rice again, but with just the crab and the rice and no like onions or anything, it'd have been a little bit boring, whereas this has got everything in it, but it doesn't look the best. I'm gonna go get some pepper, and luckily I have some Nando sauce, which is way out of date, but I'm just gonna put loads of that on it and hope it tastes alright, because I don't have high hopes for it being nice. This, hey ho. That's today's meal, and it weren't on the budget, so it was actually €2.24, so I'll add that on. Just talking at the camera and explaining stuff, but I did also want to do some videos which show not just my face all the time, so I'm happy with how that turned out until it goes on and no one watches it. No, I'm joking. No, see, you've done that for. I am happy with it, and I'm sure people will watch it. So yeah, I'm gonna go to the library today to get that uploaded, and I also need to go through the ports and see which one is going to be the cheapest to get the boat taken out. If a Genoa had come up for around about the same price, I'd probably prioritise that, just because if one came up I'd need to buy it. But I have seen there's a few for sale on eBay in the UK, so maybe I can order one of them and postage. I've seen some quite cheap, but they don't really look like they've got the fittings to put it on, and then that will end up being quite expensive to try and get that to work. I've kept the old Genoa, so I cut the, I don't know if I explained this the other day, I cut the shape, I cut the middle part out because it was too big to measure, but measured it and we know the rough size, we know the bottom and we know the chute, we just don't know the other one. But I think we can find a sale that fits based off the fact we know the square meters, we know, and two of the measurements, so we can probably do some maths and make that work. Yeah, but we're still looking for one of them. And I never went and looked at that other boat in the end, because, you know, realistically I don't want to lose loads of money on this boat. Once I get it taken out of the water next week, I've got enough paint to do the hull, I've got the anti-fouling paint, and you know, on the inside, some of the bits I need to finish off, we're not actually that far off, so we may as well do that, and then we'll see how we get on when we can sail properly, when we've replaced the Genoa and the bottom's clean, because maybe when sailing quicker than like 2 knots it might just feel a bit easier to do. And then next month I think the plan is Corsica. I'm not sure yet if I'll go on my own or if I'll try find someone, because it's going to require like me to sleep at some point. Even if I'm doing like a good 5-6 knots, it's going to take 24 hours, and there'll be parts where I'm probably not doing a good 5-6 knots, but it's exciting because it's an actual crossing to a different country over the ocean. So, well, over the Mediterranean, but still, like, it's quite a big deal, that. And the other boat being here and seeing them set off, that was quite motivating, because yeah, I'm like waiting around, and I'm hoping at the beginning of next month things kind of work in favour a little bit better, and we can get the boat out, get that done. And having to actually stay at anchor for the amount we've had to stay this month, I say all the time, like, surviving, but you know, we did a little bit more than surviving. It's not over yet, so touch wood. But because we had to get the battery to work, we had to get the solar panel fixed, and we had to just wait it out while it charged it up. And yeah, you know, in theory now, we probably don't really need to go into a port. If we can get all of the stuff that's going to require power tools done while the boat is out on the hard for the week, we'll do that, and then back in the water, and you know, we'll add another solar panel. But the inverter alarm's not gone off yet. My laptop is still charging, so it is. One's giving us quite a bit of power. I reckon one more will do us, and then we might try fix the fridge as well next month, because having gone to other boats and them having a nice cold beer, it's a bit of a game changer. And then just being able to get slightly better food, like, yeah, I've done well to make this tin mackerel go as far as it can, and I have realised there's certain stuff you don't need, and I am now, and I'm definitely next month going to do the same, where I just still be really careful with not buying as many luxuries. But at the same time, it'd be quite nice to have a bit of cheese in the fridge, and if I've got some yogurt, I can make some naan breads and stuff on the barbecue, and that'll be good. And just being able to have some meat in the fridge as well, like, would be nice. Fishing, it's not just me. Like, the guy actually did catch an eel who was on the other boat, but he had to catch like a really small fish first, and he said that he's not caught a dorade the whole time, and he knows how to fish. And he said spear fishing around here as well, unless you was an absolute expert, the fish are too quick. You know, I don't know if anyone's heard this before, but I think the fish are a bit lazier in the Caribbean. So when you watch all these sailing channels and people are in the Caribbean and come out with like free fish after being in the water spear fishing for half an hour, it's really just not the reality here. I've got 2 spear guns up here and I've never managed to spear anything. So it is one of them where maybe I could get a bit better at it, but there's not that many fish. You get in the water and you don't see that many. You see loads of little ones, but obviously you can't spear them. Anyway, that was quite a long update, but yeah, that's where we're at. So things are looking up, and after this anchor period ends, it'll be the end of the winter playlist as well. So then we'll go on to the summer playlist, where we'll be sailing hopefully and not hanging around just at anchor, because over here it's a nice anchor. We've been really lucky in the fact that the wind has always stayed relatively east, apart from on one day where it came from over there. But because we've had no strong wind from over there, we've not had to move. We've literally been here this many days so far, so we might even still be here for another, we might, if we can, we'll probably stay here up until the day that the boat comes out the water. But what is nice is that coming out here, I was like, oh, it's going to be a nightmare, the batteries don't work, I'm not going to have any lights. So to get them stuff fixed and it start to work, and to then have the realisation that I can clean the boat while I'm at anchor, and I can, you know, do stuff while at anchor, and now I can charge the laptop, albeit I can't obviously use the laptop all day because I don't have enough power, but I can charge it up, I can use it for a bit. I've been charging the Kindle, I've been reading a book about someone who lived on an island. I'll attach the name of the book, it's quite a good book. So that's what I've been doing on the evenings, and it's not been so bad. So if we can throw into the mix then actually moving like we want to be doing, I think we'll be all right. One other thing, we need to sort out the toilet, because how to approach this. I usually go to the toilet in the morning, and like, you can't flush the toilet in the morning. Like, you wake up and the sea is flat, you can't flush the toilet into the sea at anchor, you can't do it. I won't be the only one. Other people have told me they then might flush it in the night time when there's a bit of wave and a bit of wind, so it, you know, it goes and no one's swimming. So whether I have to add like a tank, I'm not sure where I'd fit one, but we could find somewhere so that you can then empty that tank. But this is the other thing I really need to think about, is when I get the boat taken out of the water next month, I need to make sure I'm ready to do all the jobs while I've got it out. So I need to fix one of the sea cocks that is meant to flush the toilet, and I also need to sort the plumbing out for the drain for the sink in the galley. And with that sink, I will show you on another video, I'm gonna cut the whole top off so I don't just have that square sink, put a bit of wood on the top with a new sink in so that I can actually wash up inside the boat. And I also need to then maybe add a sea cock so that I can add a seawater pump so that I can wash up with the seawater. But yeah, update complete. This will probably now just be a video on itself because it's 18 minutes long. Yeah, I'll probably just make this a real-time update. Maybe, will I? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, yeah, because it's long enough to be an episode in itself. But anyway, maybe I'll just start putting like 2 videos a week, but one is just an update like this, and I don't have to talk so much in all the other ones. But that's that. Anyway, I'm going to the library.